What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, man. Today, we have a special video. For those who don't know, JCS Criminal Psychology has returned. JCS Criminal Psychology he is a household name on. Basically, what his videos consist of is he takes what's normally a homicide case, or type of murder, kidnapping, etc. He basically breaks down the case and what happened, and then he goes over the interrogation, just sort of give the viewers a insight of how the detectives think, how a certain killer might think, just sort of their psychology that goes through their heads. Um, it's very intriguing, especially the crazier the situations get because people react in different type of ways, and he goes over a lot of that. Um, he's been on a break, and because YouTube has sort of been against him lately. Not fan base, but YouTube itself. Um, but he's back with another video, and we have Newlyweds telling each other. We're going to go ahead and hop into this video.
Behold, the sacred union that unites two souls into a lifelong journey. On the 2nd of December of 2017, Amelia and Joshua got married. They danced through the night to their favorite love songs, which consisted primarily of Ed Sheeran, then continued the celebration in their luxury hotel room that was overlooking the river. They moved to Florida, bought a house, and absolutely loved it. Except the only issue was that it didn't have a nice enough kitchen, so they decided to commit first-degree fraud. You see, both Amelia and Joshua worked at the bank. Josh was a loan recovery officer, the person from the bank that calls you up to politely threaten you about your overdue payments. Amelia was a bank teller, meaning she took care of regular transactions, such as depositing checks or withdrawing money for her customers. And one of these customers was an elderly man called Gerald Stack. Gerald had informed Amelia that he had sustained a traumatic brain injury, and therefore was easily confused.
Oh, wait, hold on. What the fuck is going on with my body? I didn't realize this, y'all. What the fuck? Oh, what the fuck? There we go. My bad. I
and forgetful, so Amelia initially began helping him out, even with things outside of her job, such as bringing him groceries or managing errands. But then her husband found out, and came up with the idea to steal
what happened
$50,000
to with Gerald?
And one of these customers was an elderly man called Gerald Stack. Gerald had informed Amelia that he had sustained a traumatic brain injury, and therefore was easily confused and forgetful. So Amelia initially began helping him out, even with things outside of her job, such as bringing him groceries or managing errands. But then her husband found out, and came up with the idea to steal $50,000 from her client's bank account, hoping he wouldn't notice, asserting that the money would go towards buying a new kitchen. Amelia then proceeded with the plan by writing herself 2 checks from Gerald's account for $25,000 each. And then, as expected, Gerald didn't notice. So they began enjoying life being 50 grand richer, assuming their plan had actually come to fruition. But exactly 15 weeks later, Amelia's phone rang. On the other end was Gerald's 52-year-old daughter, Cynthia, asking for a transaction history on her father's bank account and why there was $50,000 missing. Amelia's response was that she couldn't give out too much information because Cynthia wasn't the account holder, but she assured her she would look into it thoroughly and get back to her. Cynthia would then leave multiple missed calls on Amelia's phone over the next 3 days. But on day 4, the calls stopped coming in. On July 18, 2018, Cynthia and her 23-year-old son, Sean, were found shot to death in their apartment.
What the fuck?
Forensics went through Cynthia's call history and very quickly uncovered the situation with Amelia and the stolen money. They already had enough evidence to charge her with fraud and send her to jail, but they were far more interested in Josh, their prime suspect in the murders. They had an eyewitness.
Wait. So the husband and the son of Gerald were found shot to death in their apartment. They committed fraud for $50,000. Wife kept calling, trying to ask where's the money at. They feel like they had something to do with it. Here's what pisses me off about situations like these. Let's go. Let's look at this.
Except the only issue was that it didn't have a nice enough kitchen, so they decided to commit first-degree fraud.
You are a loan loan something. She's a bank teller. You work at a bank. You have a steady job that can turn into a career, probably make decent to good money, enough to live more than a lot of America. And you were greedy about having a better kitchen, so you committed fraud to steal $50,000. And when you got caught, they say 15 weeks later, was that 3 months? You killed the wife and son of the person you stole from. Why mess up your life like this? You are already in a good position to live life. Why do this? I don't understand. Are people really this greedy?
Send her to jail, but they were
They're
far more
this
interested
fucking
in
greedy?
Josh, their prime suspect in the murders. They had an eyewitness account from a neighbor that placed someone matching his description at the scene, and they also discovered that he had recently purchased a gun from a pawn shop. But this wasn't enough to charge him with murder, which
Okay, so the gun from the pawn shop. No, I'm not gonna say anything.
is why they
I'm
needed
not
a
saying anything.
confession, and the primary objective was to obtain it from Amelia, charge him with murder, which is why they needed a confession, and the primary objective was to obtain it from Amelia. Their interrogations began 9 days
Right.
after a gun from a pawn shop, but this wasn't enough to charge him with murder, which is
Right.
why they needed a confession, and the primary objective was to obtain it from Amelia. Their interrogations began 9 days after the murders on July 26th. Josh was arrested at work, while Amelia was arrested at their home. She was brought in first at 11:30 a.m.
He's off now or no?
Once the detective gets in here, take it. Shouldn't be that long.
Can I stand up at least? Because I'm comfortable.
Just do that. Hang on. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Fuck, man.
Why am I here?
Don't even try and act like you don't know, bitch.
Hey, Amelia, you want to stand up? I'll get those off of you.
Yeah.
All right, my partner's coming right back. We'll be right with you, okay?
You're about to cry.
Hey, they got those off you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, I brought you some water.
Thank you.
All right, Amelia. Obviously you want to know what's going on, and we want to talk to you about some stuff.
Okay.
So let me start at the beginning. I'm gonna record everything this way we don't miss anything. All right? All right.
Am I like getting arrested or something for something? Or?
We're going to explain it to
Yeah,
you.
we'll explain it all to you. Okay.
They collect Amelia's basic information, her home address and phone number.
All right, Amelia. We got to go over these with you, okay? Because you were brought here the way you were brought here. All right. I want to talk to you. There's always two sides to every story. You understand what I'm saying? And
Right.
obviously we have one side of a story right now, and that's why you're sitting here. So we want to get the other side of the story, okay? But for us to talk
Right,
to you,
the
I want to make
rights.
sure I go over your rights with you and you understand those rights, okay?
Okay.
And if you have any questions about any of these, you make sure you ask me, okay?
Mhm.
All right. All right. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Sure.
Is that yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Any questions about that? No?
I'm
Okay.
just okay. I just normally when this starts is like someone getting in trouble or arrested or something.
Well, we just, like I said, we want to be able to talk to you, all right? And
Yeah,
this is the right way to
of
do
course.
that. And I'm sure there could be a very reasonable explanation as to why you're here, all right?
Yeah.
But we have to talk to you about that, okay?
Okay.
So like I said, we only have one side of a story. When we have one
Here's the thing. After they read you your rights, which is the first thing they have to do, you are allowed to say, I wish to exercise my right not to speak. If they aren't formally charging you with something, you can leave. Now, in her case, they already have enough to charge her with fraud, he said. So, technically, she wouldn't be fucking leaving. They're just trying to find out more about the murder that they think Josh did. So, yeah, in her case, she's already cooked. But you can still say silent to not incriminate yourself more in a situation that would involve a murder, assuming she does know about the murder. Um, And of course, always just late for a court-appointed attorney or whatever. Like, you don't have to say anything. It'll incriminate you more, even if you're innocent.
Side, we have to go on that until we have the other side of the story, okay?
Yeah.
But just because these are your rights, I want to make sure you understand them, okay? It's
Okay.
just for us to be able to talk to each other.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Anything you say may be used against you in court. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So how long have you lived at that house over there?
We moved in June, either June or July. We just purchased that home.
Okay.
He asks Amelia what she does for work. She clarifies that she works at Chase as a bank teller.
Okay, so you work for Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long you work for Chase for?
December will be 3 years, I believe, or 4 years.
Even 3 years. You worked there long enough to make it a career, and you fuck it up with fraud for a kitchen for $50,000. Come on,
Sure, for 4 years.
greedy motherfucker.
Any issues while you're working at Chase?
No, I got a write-up recently.
You did?
Yeah.
What happened?
When was this, in May?
Mm-hmm.
I issued 2 checks for a customer, and I got a write-up for that because they weren't in the branch.
Okay.
But other than that, I've been...
All right. So, Amelia, I can tell you the reason why we're here today is because of that issue with the bank.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Does that surprise you?
For this type of situation, yeah.
Okay.
Like this intense. I mean, I got in trouble at work, which makes sense, but I'm just confused about this.
Well, let's walk through it a little bit, okay? Let's walk through that and see how maybe we came here today, all right, and find out if this was just a misunderstanding or what, okay? So, what was the name of the customer?
Gerald.
Okay.
Mr. Gerald.
So what happened with this write-up? So, I mean, had you been a banker for him for a while? I mean...
Yeah, so I've been his banker since I moved here.
Did you... Okay.
Since we moved here.
So what happened with these checks?
Nothing. He called him. I have the record over global security.
Mm-hmm.
So when they came in, they pulled like call logs, they pulled like cameras, just to make sure like they pulled signature files.
Amelia tries to use imprecise workplace terminology to confuse the detectives. She basically suggests that a security check has already been carried out by her bank, finding no misconduct or malpractice, which is incorrect. She could no longer deal with Gerald's account, and an internal investigation was still ongoing at the time of her arrest.
And that was it. I mean, that happened since March. That was...
And when you talk to Gerald, I mean, how did he appear to you? Is he a young guy, old guy?
He's old.
Oh, well, how did he appear to you when you talked to him?
He's okay.
He was okay?
Yeah.
Did you ever have any issues when you talked to him about remembering things or anything like that?
No,
There you
he had
know.
Like, I know like a little about himself. Like, he had brain surgery.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, he remembers things. I don't think he forgets, really. He just...
So he had you draw these 2 checks?
Yeah.
Okay. How much were they worth?
$25,000 each.
What did he have you do? Like, what did he ask for?
Nothing. It's just we put 2 checks and $25,000 each, and that was it.
She doesn't clarify where the money
What'd you say?
$25,000 each, and that was it.
She doesn't clarify where the money was sent, and seems to think that being ambiguous enough will prompt the detectives to move past it, which is obviously ridiculous. They will now initiate the first confrontation.
You've never been arrested before, is that correct?
No, sir.
You have a 7-year-old son, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You did this and you have a kid. And you've been in Chase 3 to 4 years, so that means he was probably what, 7 years. Fucking up with my... Wait, was it a 7-year-old kid?
Is that correct?
No, sir.
You have a 7-year-old son, is that
That means you had this kid before you worked at Chase. Why did you choose to do this dumb shit? You knew it could not only get you fired from your job, also get you possibly arrested. Just for $50,000. Do you know that you can spend $50,000 in a day, in an hour? It's not worth it.
right?
Yes, sir.
Let me explain something to you, Amelia.
Okay.
All right? We've talked to Gerald. All right? Gerald can't barely tell you what day it is. Okay? So, and anybody who talks to him should know that. So if he asked you to do that, there's two things. There's two problems we have here, isn't there? Let's start talking. Let's agree with each other. There's
Okay.
two problems, don't you think?
Okay.
Over the next 8 minutes, Amelia confesses to the theft, but the Orange County Police have redacted the footage, albeit leaving 2 tiny segments.
You see now?
But it's not like I don't want to make it. Okay.
No.
I don't want to say I took advantage of him because he's a really nice guy.
The footage resumes shortly after the confession. What you need to know is the detective has just asked Amelia about her last correspondence with Cynthia, which is only for the purpose of shifting the focus of the interrogation onto her husband.
Last time, she was supposed to call me back last week, Friday, I believe. And I haven't heard from her since, so.
Okay. Does anybody else talk to Cindy? That you know? No?
Just me.
Okay. And, Josh?
Mm-hmm.
Did he ever talk to them?
No, he never spoke to me. He doesn't even know who they are.
Okay. Would he have been at their house?
Him? He doesn't even know where they live. I don't even know where they live.
It's possible Josh went.
You either just lied or told the truth, because I remember they said earlier that she would help him with groceries. You would have to know where he lives to do that. But assuming that, wife would have to live with the son. I don't know, because he said the son was 26 or something.
Went over there and you didn't know?
I mean, how would he know where they live, though?
That's not the question I was asking. Is it possible that he went over there?
Not that I know, no.
So you can't say for sure he did or didn't?
I can say no.
How
To my
can you say
knowledge.
no?
Because he doesn't know he doesn't know them.
Do you think it's unusual that Cindy hasn't called you since then? Do you think she just stopped?
Well, she had told me that she was going to reach back out to me Friday.
So today's Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
It's been almost a week. And she hasn't reached out to you at all. Have you reached out to her? How come?
I was going to call her, but she had told me that she was going to call me, but I told her that I was going on vacation.
The investigator will now bring the discussion to Josh's whereabouts last Wednesday, the day Sean and Cynthia were murdered.
Did you, was there any night? I mean, does he normally go out with friends or anything like that?
We go out all the time, actually.
You guys go out. Did he go out without you at one point in time?
He went to Daytona.
What night?
To Daytona either Wednesday or Thursday.
On Wednesday.
The victims were murdered on the Wednesday in Orlando. Daytona is an hour's drive away.
Wednesday or Thursday.
He went to Daytona?
Wait, nigga, you drove an hour away to kill someone? What the fuck are we doing? You were that pressed for murder that you bought a gun at a pawn shop. Clearly not with cash, that's how they tracked it. And then drove an hour to Daytona to murder them.
You go to Daytona for?
She asserts they got in a fight and he just left and turned his phone off the entire night.
And when was the last time before that you had a fight where you went to Daytona?
Maybe a couple weeks before that.
What's in Daytona that
And then
he goes to?
he just went too. He went this week too again.
Where is he going in Daytona?
I have no clue.
Did you
She
hear your
asserts that
husband?
Josh left midday and returned at roughly 9 a.m. the next morning, claiming to have been out with his friends. The second detective will now contribute and engage the suspect from a completely different angle.
You know, before we met today, we obviously researched some things, and your relationship with Matthew was abusive. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Matthew is Amelia's ex-boyfriend.
How's your relationship with
I'm gonna
Josh?
say, who's Matthew?
I mean, we fight a lot.
When was the last time?
The
Like,
Wednesday
nothing
you
crazy,
just
like
told
2
him
weeks
about?
ago.
What happened 2 weeks ago?
I went out with a few friends, and I guess someone texted me and he like flipped out.
Has his behavior changed recently? No? Has he ever threatened to kill you?
Mm-mm.
No. Have you ever seen any violent tendencies other than...
He gets really angry.
Okay.
He like yells.
What happens when he gets really angry?
I mean, he yells really loud. He like punches stuff, like the wall.
Okay.
So yeah.
A violent tendencies.
Are we safe to assume that Julian's the most important person in your life?
Absolutely, 100%.
All right. Are you scared of Josh?
No.
If he did something wrong that put your son and your son's future and your future in jeopardy, would you tell us about it?
Of course.
Okay. But that's all I got, Pete.
I'll ask you a few more things.
He's
like
just doing
February,
a
you said,
setup.
I think you're
So
kind
she
of
can't deny shit.
right now. Okay, you've got Josh, who you probably love, and he's your husband. Okay, but you also have
Did he say
Julian.
probably love?
Crossroads right now. Okay, you've got Josh, who you probably love, and he's your husband.
That's crazy.
Okay? But you also have Julian, and you got to picture that little boy. You got to picture not being able to watch him grow up. Think about that for a second. Think about being put somewhere very far away from him, and the only way you're going to have contact with him is through letters. You're going to get pictures in jail, in prison, of your little boy growing up. He's going to grow up with his grandparents.
Did she just wipe a tear from her face and then look on her hand to see if it was actually there? Crocodile tears?
He's going to grow up with his grandparents, maybe? Who knows? Maybe Matthew's grandparents, maybe Matthew's parents, maybe somebody else will try and take him away from them. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. No, we're not saying we're going to take your kids away from you, okay? You got to start thinking long and hard who you have loyalty to. If Josh screwed up, he screwed up. That's not on you. But anything you know about that, we need to know about. He messed this up. He did this. He did this. And I don't want to go in there and have him tell me that you told him to go do it. Do you understand this? This whole thing. I'm talking about everything.
As you may have noticed, the detectives haven't mentioned the murders yet. They've been keeping it as open as possible in the hope she will volunteer the element herself.
We can't do this anymore. Now's the time. Tell us what he did. So you can look at your son and say, I did the right thing in the end. What did he do?
Bro, they're giving you an out. Know that you're going to be charged with fraud. They're giving you an out to say you don't have to go to jail for not only the fraud, but knowing that Josh possibly murdered someone. They're saying you can go home with your kid. They're giving you a cop-out, a plea deal. Take it. You get to go home. That's what you want to do at the end of the day, right? Is go the fuck home.
We need to know.
I don't want to go to jail. I don't
Tell
want
us,
to.
listen, you have to trust us. Okay?
I don't want to get in trouble for
We know
any
you
of
didn't
this.
do this. We know
I
you
don't want to
didn't.
get in trouble for any of this.
What did he do?
Nothing to do with
What did
me.
he do?
Stop. You're fake crying now.
I don't know the severity of what he did.
And there we have it. What appeared to be the brink of a very compelling confession wasn't.
Yeah, because now you know that he did something. You just don't know how far he went.
Amelia remains obtuse while subtly trying to bargain for some type of clemency, and this repeats itself for the next 3.5 minutes until the lead detective decides that he's had enough. He will now reveal the extent of the investigation's evidence and get to the real reason why she's sitting in this interrogation room.
They're both dead.
What?
Yeah. They're dead. So now we really need to talk. Okay?
How did they die?
They were murdered.
Where?
Listen. If there's anything that you know about this, okay?
Uh-huh.
Now is the time, okay? Because let's listen to me. Listen to me. You're all over their stuff talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
You took money from their father. This was not an amicable, let's talk about this.
No, of course, yeah. I don't, that, whoa.
Whoa. I'm shocked
This
as
is
you
how
are.
get in trouble for murder.
Looking at.
Me?
Yeah, let me explain it to you, okay? Let me explain it to you. This is how you get in trouble for it, okay? If we find out in any stretch of the imagination, in any way, shape, or form, that you're providing some type of alibi
Your accessory.
What does that
to
mean?
Josh, that you're telling us he was somewhere where he wasn't, that you're lying to us about where he was, what you know, what you don't know, about the gun, about any of it. If we find that out, guess what you become?
Accessory?
I don't know.
You become a principal. Principal to homicide.
Or
in the
principal,
first
I didn't
degree.
know that. I didn't know that.
I don't want to go to jail. I didn't do anything. So, if whatever you guys need to know,
Are
I
you,
can
like,
tell
half
as much as
smiling?
We
I
need to know. We need to know what Josh did. We need to know, and anything that you know about it, you need to tell us. Okay? You need to. This is the time right now. All right? You got to understand that. Okay? What did he tell you?
My biggest thing right now is I need to know that I'm going home.
This is one of the few things police can't actually lie about. They can't make promises with respect to sentencing in exchange for compliance, as this would render an interrogation inadmissible. They can divert and deflect from the element to avoid shutting it down altogether, but they absolutely must not substantiate it as a guarantee.
I need to know that I'm going to see my son. I need to know that I have no part of this whatsoever.
If you didn't know he was going to go over there and do that, then that's
I
fine.
have no...
Listen, you don't want me to go in there and him tell me, guess what? I went over there. She gave me the address. She told me to go over there and take care of the problem. Do you understand that? What if he says that?
I didn't do anything. I didn't even know
Right.
that you
So
oh
listen.
my God.
Listen, I was just going where she told me to go. All right? She told me this is all her idea. And again, this is where I'm saying you got to wonder if he's put his hands on you and if he's done things to you in the past. Do you think he's got any loyalty to you whatsoever, or do you think I have a problem putting you squarely in the middle of this?
I do not want to go to jail. I don't.
Stop
Like, if I
saying,
get
then just tell them. They said earlier, if you have nothing to do, you have something to do with it at this point. That's what it is. Because they already said if you have nothing to do with this, you were unaware of his actions, etc., then we can't, you know, you're good. You can go home. But you clearly have some part in this where either you gave them the address, you know, gave some type of information that led them to be able to commit this act. That's clearly what it is. What I think it is that she gave him the address. Because clearly he wouldn't have access to it. Especially if she's the bank teller that they're coming to. You know what I mean?
fired, okay, let me get fired at work, but I don't want to go to jail.
We need to be able to go to them and say she's completely 100% honest and truthful with us. We didn't have to give her a polygraph. We didn't have to do any of that stuff because she told us everything, okay?
And then if I do tell you everything, how am I promised I'm not going to go to jail?
Again, we can't make you promises, but what we can say is...
The investigator is clutching at straws trying to navigate this element. Literally. He will now provide a very generic compromise which He will now provide a very generic compromise which Amelia will immediately see through, and in exactly 2 seconds, she will shake her head, as if to say,
no deal.
What we can absolutely say is she was 100% truthful with us. She was remorseful. She didn't leave anything out. She told us. Now, Detective Mareshi and I are not going to sit here right now and say you're being 100% completely honest with us. There's stuff that's eating at you. It's bothering you, right? It's eating at you. There's things that you know that you want to get out, but you're just scared.
Yes, I'm scared.
Okay. Well, you know what? That's something we're going to have to work through, okay? But we can work through that stuff.
Amelia takes the advice and tries to work on her issues.
I want to know that I'm not going to go to jail. Like, that's what I want to know. I didn't do anything. I didn't conspire anything. My intention is not to hurt anybody.
Listen to me for just a second, because we can't promise you what's going to happen to you. But I can tell you well, the one thing I can guarantee you is if you withhold this information or if you lie about it, you're not just going to go to jail. You're going to go to prison for a very, very long time.
Which I don't want to go to either or. I don't want to do either
Tell
or.
this man everything you know. Tell the truth. And it starts from there, Amelia.
Okay. When she had called me about the whole situation.
She repeats how her conversation went with Cynthia.
And then she told me on Friday that she was going to go into the branch.
Mm-hmm.
I told her if she wants to come, she can come and see me on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't heard from her since.
She's still given the detectives absolutely nothing they can use, so they reinstate the pressure.
You don't want to be wrapped up in this. You don't, you didn't do this.
Wait, what?
I haven't heard from her since.
She's still given the detectives absolutely nothing they can use, so they reinstate the pressure.
You don't want to be
Why
wrapped up in this.
is she doing this?
You didn't do this, okay? He's bringing this on you. You understand what I'm saying? He's bringing this on you. So I don't think there's a loyalty to him. I don't think you're worried about telling us what he did. I don't think that's that. Am I right in that? I mean, you're not worried about telling us what he did.
I don't care about him.
Right.
At
That's
this point,
okay. That's kind of where I'm at too.
At
I
this
think
point, I care about
you're in a
myself.
self-preservation.
That's what it is. Okay, yeah. She doesn't care about him right now. She's just trying to protect herself from going to jail. And it's like, yes, we understand that you don't want to go to fucking jail or prison, but like, at some point, if you had anything to do with it, you're just gonna have to face the consequences. Not trying to get a cop out or plea deal or some bullshit when you're guilty in all forms, regardless.
Reservation mode. Okay,
Absolutely,
right.
I'm not.
So
I don't
understand something.
I don't want to go to jail.
You're gonna have a journey ahead of you. Okay.
Of course.
And again, it starts here and it starts now, and it starts with how you want to see this journey through. Okay. You did some wrong stuff. You made mistakes. Nobody's gonna crucify you for that. Okay. You're a young woman. You're a smart woman. I think you're in a volatile relationship with somebody who treats you very badly. I think you're in a relationship where he manipulates you, it sounds like. It sounds like he puts his hands on you. You're in a bad spot. You have your child.
Amelia starts giving away more information, starting from the morning after the victims were killed.
When he got home the next day, he came home like around 9 o'clock. My mom was with me on the side of my house, and we were trying to figure out like where was he, what was he doing. He was nervous when he got home.
Okay.
He was really nervous.
And that's the extent of what she says. She acts like she's beginning to cooperate, then just doesn't. And it's become a pattern at this point.
Are you telling us the truth that when you walked in this room, you had no idea those two people were dead?
No, I had no clue.
Okay.
I just want to know. I want to go home. That's all I want to do is I want to go home.
And so then Wednesday, after he dropped Julian off, did he go to work on Wednesday?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Did you work that day?
I did. I worked all week. I didn't call out until today. Today's my first day I called out
Okay.
for this month.
Well, Josh is here. Okay, and you're at least gonna have to stay here till we're done talking with him.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want anything to eat? We got a snack bar down there.
I'm not hungry. My
Okay.
stomach is just.
If you do, just knock on the door. Okay.
Can I use the restroom?
Bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get somebody to use that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, am I done or?
Well, there's some more talking to do. 48 hours, 28 hours, that concludes this interview.
I have a question. Will I be able to go home later today or no?
We're gonna have to see. We're interested in seeing what Josh says.
Do I just sit in here?
Yeah. Like, so we'll get somebody to take you to the bathroom, and like after that.
You're asking if you're going to be able to go home, and I already told you. And like you said, you're going to have to see what Josh says. Because he can just blame this all on you. And unless you have some type of evidence or you gave your story first to say, no, it was on him, this is not on you. Dumb bitch.
In the meantime, just knock on the door.
This is obviously not the last you'll see of Amelia, and you're now about to see the opening phase of her husband's interrogation, who unbeknownst to her had been waiting in the room directly adjacent for just over 2 hours. The detectives will enter his room 18 minutes after they left Amelia's.
Oh, thanks. Hey, how you doing? Josh?
Cold, yeah.
Cold?
It is
Here.
cold in
Well,
there.
that water's a little warm, so that might warm you up a little bit.
Jeez, yeah, it's cold in there.
All right, Josh, well, we can explain to you what's going on, obviously. I'm sure you want to know. Get a couple things we need to go over first before we do that. So you have the right to remain silent, do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. Let me ask you this question. I'm going to throw this out to you. Why do you think you're sitting here right now?
I honestly have no idea.
No idea?
No idea.
Okay. Have you... Well, let me just get you straight. What was the last bank account that you opened?
This is an indirect confrontation about the theft. The context is that he recently opened an account for Amelia's son Julian at Bank of America, which is where they hid the 50 grand.
Bank of America.
Okay. In whose name?
In my name and Julian's name.
Okay. Tell me about that.
He explains the process of opening an account for a minor at Bank of America. He mentions nothing of the stolen money and continues to act oblivious. The investigator doesn't confront him. He instead sharply switches the discourse to a more threatening element. You'll notice this interrogation moves at a much faster pace than the one you just saw.
That's good.
Do you want a firearm?
Ramp up the pressure.
I actually bought one last week, Monday.
The detectives already knew this, so he does the smart thing and volunteers the information, but also feels the need to immediately clarify how there is no possible way for that gun to have been involved in any shady activity since its purchase. So Josh's explanation is that he drove halfway up a bridge while he was in Daytona and threw it off.
And you threw it off the overpass?
Yeah.
Why would you buy a gun and just throw it then?
Yeah, all in one piece.
What caliber is that gun?
I think it was a 9mm.
What kind of ammunition did you put in it?
I didn't have any ammunition inside of it.
You didn't have any ammunition inside of it?
No.
Did you buy ammunition for it when you bought it?
No.
Okay. Well, I just get a little confused. So, explain to me your reasoning again as to why you threw this gun off this pier.
I had a real, I guess a relapse of what happened to me.
What Josh meant to say here is that he had a flashback, and what he's talking about is the fact that he accidentally shot himself in the leg with his own gun while getting out of the car to go bowling. And now everyone calls him Cheddar Bob, the fictional character in the 8 Mile movie who also accidentally shot himself in the leg with his own gun.
And I was like,
fuck, what was the bar? Fuck, hold on. Fucking free to the full. I am white and I'm a fucking bum. I do live in a trailer with my mom. I do got the friend named Cheddar Bob who shoots himself in his leg with his own gun. I did get jumped, but all 6 of you punks. And Wink did fuck my girl. I'm still sitting here screaming, fuck the free world. Don't you ever try to judge me, dude. You don't know what the fuck I've been through. But I know something about you. You went to Cranbrook. That's a private school. This guy... What's the matter, dog? You embarrassed? This guy's a gangster? His real name's Clarence. And Clarence lives at home with both parents. And Clarence's parents have a real good marriage. This guy don't want to battle. He should. Cause ain't no such things as halfway crooks. Scared to death, scared to look in his fucking yearbook. Fuck Cranbrook. Fuck a beat. I go acapella. Okay, sorry. Let's get back to it. It was just a bar. I love Eminem. 8 Mile. Cheddar Bob.
His own gun while getting out of the car to go bowling. And now everyone calls him Cheddar Bob, the fictional character in the 8 Mile movie who also accidentally shot himself in the leg with his own gun.
and I was like, some shit happens again by accident.
I guess that's where I get a little concerned. Well, my thing is, you guys are kind of hurting for money. Sounds like. I mean, you're working now, but you're
Yeah, I'm working now, so things
So
are.
you spent $250 in cash on this gun.
Yeah.
At the pawn shop.
Mhm.
Oh, so you did buy
Pawn shops are pretty
cash.
good. I mean, usually you can go back and pawn it
Yeah,
back,
but
right?
I was like, at that very moment, I was like, anything could fucking happen, and I'm like,
But it's not loaded.
it wasn't looked. Yeah.
So right now you got basically a paperweight.
Yeah.
So it's not dangerous to you at that point in time.
Mhm. But for me, mentality-wise, I wasn't thinking like that. I just threw it.
Josh, listen.
So he's trying to clear himself of being able to use the gun in a murder, which he knows he did.
Mhm.
We're here for something very, very serious, okay?
Okay.
Let's walk through this a little bit, okay?
Mhm.
What are we missing?
Nothing that I know of. I mean, told you guys where I was, what I was doing. I mean, you could check our phone records too. We've been fighting for a long time.
Well,
The reason he gave for being in Daytona was because he was fighting with Amelia, which is what he just referred to. But of much greater interest and perceptibly out of nowhere, the detective will now initiate the confrontation.
explain this to me, okay?
Mhm.
How is it that you wound up at Cynthia's house, Cynthia's apartment over on Jefferson? Because I have eyewitnesses that put you there.
I was never at her place.
Okay. All right.
Notice how he didn't inquire into who Cynthia is or why she was even brought up in the discussion. He just immediately denies the very sudden and seemingly random allegation. But more to the purpose, you'll have noticed how the detective hasn't outright accused him of murder.
This is smart. I mean, this is not smart. This is smart on the detective because, like, yes, all he said was I was never at her place. He didn't ask who Cynthia was or which Cynthia he was talking about. Like, oh, that's Cynthia? Oh, I don't remember being, like, I don't know why someone said it saw me. Like, you know that there's a reason you shouldn't have been there, so that's what he said. You were never at her place. But the detectives already know that. Damn, see, this is why I love JCS.
Allegation. But more to the purpose, you'll have noticed how the detective hasn't
Jim
outright
can't
accused him
swim.
of murder. only placed him at the scene. This is because he's about to provide Josh with an escape route, a morally acceptable explanation as to why he would be there. He's basically trying to get one foot in the door and attain the first level of admission.
Listen to me. You were there. Well, I need to know why you were there. You understand what I'm saying? If it was some innocent reason, I need to know. But I need to know why. So why did you go there? Did you go there to tell them that you were going to pay him back?
This is the face of someone falling for the oldest trick in the book, on the very first attempt. You're about to see him seize what he believes to be the unique opportunity to save himself, at the expense of his wife.
No, okay. Can we clear this whole thing out?
What's up?
Okay. So,
Okay.
Amelia was freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, I did chuck my gun over the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Okay.
The next 2 minutes of footage has also been cut out. What you need to know is that Josh has now conceded to knowing about the fraud, and that he did in fact go over to Cynthia's house on the day in question, but only to let her know they would be paying her back, which you might recall was the exact reason afforded to him by the detective. The rest
But why? My thing is, why do you need to drive over an hour to Daytona just to tell her that? Do it through a text, email, phone call. Amelia could do it through the text, email, phone call. There's surely 2 people with 6 different ways between them that could have did this.
of what he spoke on will now be relayed back to him.
If I'm understanding you right, you're saying Amelia is the one that talked to somebody to take care of them?
Yeah, and I don't
Why?
know. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, how do you know that?
Well, there was a kid that came to our house.
What's his name?
Jay something. I don't know his phone. I've seen him once at my house.
So Amelia's so scared about this and worried about this, and you explain to me. So who kept on calling her and wouldn't leave her alone?
I think it was the same Cynthia lady. I didn't ask any questions. She said, "Oh, somebody keeps calling me." She said one of Gerald's families. I said, "Okay, that's fine." Then some kid came up to our house like 11 o'clock at night.
She gave him $10,000 to what?
I have no idea.
Where
And
did
from
she
my
have
understanding-
$10,000 to give him?
To kill him.
Where
or
did
something.
Where
I
did
don't
she
know.
get the 10,000?
I have
Y'all
no
had to
idea.
steal
When did you find out
50,000.
about this? Before?
Yeah.
Unlucky Josh, wrong answer. You just told on yourself in your own made-up story, and you're going to jail no matter what. But the detectives really won't care about this, because they want to send him to jail forever, not just a few years.
I think it was.
Wait, hold on.
And from my
What do
understanding,
you think she gave him $10,000 for?
to kill him or something. I don't know. I have no idea.
When did you find out about this? Before?
Yeah.
Unlucky Josh, wrong answer. You just told on yourself in your own made-up story, and you're going to jail no matter what. But the detectives really won't care about this,
Damn.
because they want to send him to jail forever, not just a few years.
I think it was Saturday or Sunday.
The Saturday or Sunday before you went over there on Tuesday?
Josh's imagination goes on for another 6 minutes. The detective doesn't even bother following up with questions. He just goes straight back to confrontation.
If it's something that got out of hand versus something that you planned, that's a whole different ballgame. You understand what I'm saying? If you plan this out, that's a bad thing. But if it got out of hand, if you went back just to try and talk, and it got out of hand, that's a whole different ballgame. You understand what I mean? Okay? That changes everything. But I don't know that until I hear it from you. Right now, this all I know is what we have.
The detective will now accelerate the pressure over the next 43 seconds. You will notice he is very good at conveying tone. It's not just what he says, but the way he says it. And you're about to see this have an effect on the suspect.
I ain't gonna lie, this detective is good. I don't know this nigga's name, but he know how to press a nigga calmly and firmly. And the other dude, he'll step in with a question. They'll be like, "Hey, I'm just trying to make you realize this shit," and they'll make the person realize. He don't even need to step in right now because this detective's putting pressure on it.
Like I said, this isn't going to go away. And this is going to be something that's going to eat at you. It's going to eat at you until we get it out. I'll tell you right now, let's not go back. We're going to figure it out. Now's your time to say, you know what, this got out of hand. I'm sorry. You understand what I'm saying? Remorse goes a long, long way. What happened? Let's work through this.
I just don't want to get nobody else in trouble.
Okay.
What Josh means here is that he doesn't want to get anybody else in trouble other than his wife, and he very much associates himself with the category of anybody else. He still really doesn't want to get into trouble. All that's happened here is the detective was applying an effective variation of pressure, and the suspect crumbled like a deck chair, well and truly folded like an overcooked noodle, and he now feels like he has to act like a good person. So he starts providing
why he
detail
say it
applying
like
an
that?
effective variation of pressure, and the suspect crumbled like a deck chair, well and truly folded like an overcooked noodle, and he now feels like he has to act like a good person.
I'm gonna use
So he
that.
starts providing details with a profound demeanor as if he's unveiling something significant. But you'll notice that nothing
Folded like a
changes with
deck
regard to
chair.
his culpability, and his
Cooked
intention
like
of
a-
implicating Amelia to save
like a
himself has not
overcooked noodle.
changed in the slightest.
Alright, say the
Which is
last part
something
again.
significant. But you'll notice that nothing changes with regard to his culpability, and his intention of implicating Amelia to save himself has not changed in the slightest.
Fucked up.
That's not really the issue here.
I mean, if you
Because
love
I'm
Amelia,
scared.
listen, if you love Amelia, you're going to...
Amelia, this is why you should have gave your story first. They even told you. You had the best deal. They even told you they're talking to you first, and then they're going to go talk to Josh. That's why they want to get your story first before they go to Josh. So that way, if he tries to say, oh, it's Amelia's fault or whatever, you don't have to be put on the defense to defend yourself this late in the game when you could have did it earlier. Because you would have already had a solid story, alibi, whatever you want to say. The detectives either somewhat knew or could have backed up with whatever evidence they had. But now, you have to play catch up with what the fuck Josh is doing here. Because he's trying to accuse you of everything. Now he's saying you hired a hitman named Jay who came to the house and you paid him $10,000 to go and kill them. Now you're on the defense and you have to claim that wasn't true and all this other BS.
To the boss, you don't want to do that, do you?
I'm just scared.
And then you're gonna look more crazy because then you have to start accusing him because you know that he's accusing you. You had your chance and you fucked it up.
I'm
Amelia,
scared.
listen, if you love Amelia, you're going to put her under the bus? You don't want to do that, do you?
I'm just scared for everybody
I
else.
know you're scared. I know you're scared.
I didn't throw the gun away.
Okay, tell me.
I left there
Mhm.
at maybe 10 something.
Mm-hmm.
But before I left,
Mm-hmm.
the same guy that I guess Amelia paid him. The same guy came up to my car.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I wanted to talk to her to get the money back." And he's like, "Oh, Amelia or Jay sent me here." I'm like, "Sent you here for what?" And he was like, he had a gun to my head. And he said, he's like, "I know you have a gun. Give me your gun and leave." I left. I went to Alchemy. I didn't throw the gun over the pier. He had the gun. I went back to Alchemy. I drove to Daytona. Came back home at like 5:30 in the morning. And that was it.
So wait, is he saying that this J person met him there on the way and said, "Give me your gun," and then he went to go kill the people? You just went home? Is that what I'm understanding?
Why did you put a gun in your head and take your gun?
Yeah,
don't-
why?
I don't
That
know.
doesn't make any sense.
All I know is Amelia paid them $10,000.
To put a gun to your head and take your gun?
I don't know why she paid them.
That doesn't make any sense.
Josh. You know you're making this hole that much bigger. You know that. That doesn't make any sense to anybody. Okay? No. I mean, how would these people know where to find you, and then all of a sudden they found you and took your gun?
They
To
wouldn't
do-
put a gun to your head to take your gun unless they knew you were a threat to them. You don't even know who they are. You're not doing anything to them, so why would they feel a need to take your gun? That doesn't make any sense, Josh. Come on.
What, to frame you?
Come
You
on.
know who throws a gun over a bridge? And that's what I really think happened to this thing. That you threw the gun over the bridge. We know you went to Daytona because we got the receipt and everything else that you went to Daytona. We know you got gas over there. All right? What makes more sense is, well, I mean, you threw a gun because you used it.
No.
Yes. Josh. When people come in here and tell us, oh, I was driving around for a while and I can't remember where I went, or I don't, that I know exactly what's going on there, okay? And for you not to tell us that you went to that apartment, there's a reason why, all right? So again, this is not to figure out who, it's to figure out why. And this is your time. This is you. This is you.
We've talked to Amelia already.
The suspect is sticking to his new storyline, so just like with Amelia, the second detective will engage him from a different angle.
And
So that way they can be like, oh, we talked to Amelia already. She said this, this, and that. So now you're going to feel like you have to actually give out some real truthness to your story when you already just was lying. My thing is this, because don't in the court, they disassemble this and say, oh, this person was clearly unhonest and was on a path of lies. Why should we believe them when they're telling the truth now?
And we asked her, who's the most important person in Josh's life? And she said, I assume it's me. And I said, he's not going to do or say anything that's going to jeopardize your future, right? And she goes, I wouldn't think so. So when I asked Amelia who's the most important person in her life, what do you think she said?
Me.
Yeah. And
We presume this falsehood was intended to evoke a sense of empathy from Josh towards his wife, perhaps with the hope that
Yeah,
it would
'cause
motivate
she's at
him
the
to
kid,
protect her,
right?
and as a
Her
result
kid?
start being honest. But
Well,
all
it's
it
not
seems to
him.
do is bolster his confidence in his new fantasy novel.
you're over here saying
Oh,
that
because
she paid
now he
somebody
thinks,
to
oh,
tell
she's
these
just
people.
all lovey-dovey on
So
him, and she's not
my
going to
thing
accuse him of shit.
is that
I'll tell you right now.
She's going to protect him.
Straight up. I was there. My gun was taken from me by some black guy that said he knows Jay. Amelia gave him $10,000.
My gun was taken by some black guy. Why are we always put in the middle of shit? You know there was no black nigga in Florida stopping you at your car to take your gun at gunpoint when he already has a gun. You know he was not doing that. You know that did not happen.
Jay. Amelia gave him $10,000.
Gosh, what the fuck?
one of you is a really awful person. Someone is letting their spouse go to prison for the rest of their life for something that they did. Is it you or her?
I didn't. I don't have a bone in me to kill
That's-
anybody.
So, I'm trying to figure out how they took the gun from you. Explain that. Walk me through that.
Okay, I was sitting in my car
Where?
in front of their apartment.
What time?
This was 10 something.
Before, okay.
And
Under the
they said they were sitting there
Those apartment?
around the corner since
Who
God
said
knows
that?
how. The same guy.
How did you know that?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
What do you mean? How do we?
Well, they said they were sitting around the corner. How did you know that?
He told me, he's like, we were watching you. We see you talking to this lady. What's going on? Did you tell her that Jay, you spoke to Jay? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I came to talk to this lady to try to resolve an issue. And he put a gun to my head and he said, I know you have a gun on me. I don't know how he knew I had a gun on me
Mm-hmm.
in the first place. He took my gun and he said, leave.
What did that guy look like?
Probably 6'5".
oh, there's two guys.
That's a rather unambiguous height for a professional hitman. You would think they would sort of need to blend in, but that's probably why his rates were so cheap.
Bald black guy.
I love this
All
nigga.
black clothes.
Like African American?
Yeah.
Black guy in all
I
black
mean, if I
clothes,
may,
of course.
you know what I see? I see somebody who's
Typical.
trying to explain the disappearance of a gun. And see, the only reason we would explain the disappearance of a gun is because it was used in something. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
Josh,
I'm telling
no,
you.
listen, hold on a second. Why on earth would this guy need to come up to you? Okay? First of all,
It's the same guy.
no,
that-
listen, you want to say that they happen to be there at the same time you are now. Okay? They just happened to be there at the same time you were, and he happened to know that you had a gun, and he happened to put a gun to your head and take your gun away from you. That's what you want people to believe. Does that, I mean, just listening to it said by somebody else, does that make a lot of sense to you? Why does he need your gun? Why?
I don't know. All I know is
He had a gun.
I went there at between 3:30, 4 o'clock ish. Talked to her.
Mm-hmm.
I come out. I go and sit in my car. I'm vaping, I have my window down.
And a very tall black guy takes his gun at gunpoint, while being courteous enough to provide a thorough explanation of why he's doing so. You've heard it before, as have the investigators, so they close out the initial phase of Josh's interrogation.
All right, we'll be back in just a minute then. We're gonna go talk to her
Dumb as
some more.
shit.
Time is now approximately
Can I have
16:30
a
hours.
blanket or something?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think my one partner tried to find you one.
It's cold.
We now have to go back an hour and 40 minutes to begin Amelia's phase 2, where phase 1 left off.
Okay, so if you remember something, we'll listen.
40 minutes go by with Amelia fidgeting with her nails, attempting to sleep, and pacing back and forth in the room. She then knocks on the door. The officer who made her arrest will now answer. It's apparent that he's built some level of trust with the suspect.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, is the two detectives there?
They're busy right now. I can relay something to them, but it may be a little bit. What do you need?
Oh, no, it's fine. I'll let it go.
Okay. You want to talk to them though?
I'm cold and I just want to talk to them.
Okay. I will look for a blanket for you, and then I can't help you to talk until they're done. But I'll let me go get you a blanket. Okay?
Okay.
There's two of them. I know you're cold.
Thank you.
Hey, you need to talk to them. You need to get out from underneath this big time. Did they tell you who they work for?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're homicide detectives, so.
I know.
And they want you to be a witness, not a suspect.
Okay.
So the only way it's gonna happen is you gotta talk to them.
That's why I want
W detective. See, he's one. Okay, one. They really believe that you're innocent and that Josh is really the suspect in this. So they wouldn't do this unless they were professionals. They really think you're innocent. They really are trying to like tell you to help yourself. Amelia, take the fucking chance. This is a golden opportunity. Just give them the information. Even if they still want to charge you for fraud or whatever. I mean, if you're not able to make a plea deal, cop out, whatever. What, 5 years or something like that at most? Or probation. Like, damn.
I don't want to be involved in any of this. Like,
Okay.
I don't want any part of this. I want
Well,
to
you
get
are
to
involved.
Okay.
This.
Do you know what happened?
I do.
What happened?
Well, it's about this whole
Oh. This nigga said, hold on. I need my jacket. Let me get that jacket. I'm about to play detective real quick, cuz.
situation.
Well, we're not talking about the check situation. We're talking about the homicide part. What do you know?
My husband called these people. He pretended he was somebody else. He got their address and he went over there. All he kept saying to me is, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it.
What did he tell you afterwards?
When he got home, he didn't really speak to me.
Okay, but eventually he told you what happened.
No, he didn't tell me that he killed anybody.
Where's the gun?
He got rid of it.
Where?
Daytona.
How do you know?
He told me.
Okay, so he tells you he's getting rid of a gun, but he doesn't tell you he murdered someone. Did he tell you he murdered someone? See, that's the part you can't hold back from. Sweetie, I'm being honest with you. I have no...
If I say all of these things, will I get in trouble?
If you don't say any of these things, you're definitely going to get in trouble.
He didn't tell me he killed them. He said I handled the situation. It was,
Did he describe how, what?
He never physically said, like, what he did or if anything was done.
Did he say he shot him?
Well, I'm guessing he had his gun, so...
Don't guess. Did he tell you that he shot him?
Yes.
He said he shot him.
Mm-hmm.
Where did he go?
Oh, I don't know. He didn't say anything about
But he
that.
said he shot him. Okay, and then after... Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He told me if I say anything that he'll kill me too.
And this is after you knew he shot him.
Yes.
Okay, well, you ain't got to worry about that. About him trying to hurt you. Because he's never going to see the light of day again.
Okay.
But you, when they come back in here, sweetie, everything. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All
I
right.
just don't want anyone to think that I didn't know that it was gonna, I didn't know that this was gonna happen. Why would he do something like, it's just like, why?
I hope this dude got a promotion after this. Because not only was he just they said he was just the cop that arrested her. he got information. This nigga should have got his promotion. They work in homicide. This nigga should have got his promotion. I don't know this nigga's name, but someone please tell me he got his goddamn promotion.
Why would you do something so stupid? And it's just two innocent people. Like, it's just, like, why?
Don't worry about it. Listen, I'm gonna get them. They're talking to someone right now. But I'm gonna have them come.
Oh, this nigga's good.
And then put me in the middle of this. A child, like...
I know. Don't worry. I'll be back in a minute.
The
This nigga's
detectives
good.
re-enter Amelia's room an hour later. It's been 12 minutes since they finished the first phase of Josh's interrogation.
Hey.
All right, we'll see.
This nigga's
Get your
good.
blanket, huh? Okay, so Amelia, now we were talking a little bit more. Josh, told you. I guess apparently when we first, you said he took care of business when he got home that day. Okay,
Yes.
there's more information, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
She repeats what she told the arresting officer. The second detective will now clarify that Josh's main accusations are false.
So as we sit here right now,
Yes.
Josh telling us that you paid Jay Prasad to kill these people, that's a lie.
That's a lie.
And that's all they need from suspect number 1.
God, this is insane.
I would agree with you.
Yeah. All right, Amelia. The time is now approximately 17:37 hours. That concludes this interview.
I just don't understand why I'm, like...
Wait, that's all they needed?
I think we've tried to explain it to you.
I understand that, but I don't want to go to prison for something I didn't do. For something I didn't have a part of. For something that I didn't...
Amelia, we're gonna have to try and figure that out.
I just wish you would tell the truth.
Oh. You and me both.
Wait,
The detectives re-enter
I'm confused. Were they only
False
went in
information.
there
Okay.
to
His
ask if what
interrogation.
he said was true? They didn't want to...
17:37 hours. That concludes this.
For something...
will now be taking you through re-enter Josh's room 14.
They didn't want to press her and ask more information about what she knew or what happened, or they just used everything that she told the cop that arrested her. That's it. I expected them to talk to her more, but I guess we're going back to Josh for the rest of the time.
15 minutes later at 5:52 p.m. The other narrator will now be taking you through the second phase of his interrogation.
Better?
Putting everything else aside, just imagine being Josh right now. One moment.
Narrator will now be taking you through the second phase of his interrogation.
Better?
Putting everything else aside, just imagine being Josh right now. One moment you're in dreamland, and the next you're jolted back into interrogation room reality, being asked if the blanket is helping with the cold by the guy who's controlling the thermostat.
Yeah.
So obviously we want to follow up with you because, we went back and talked to Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, we're just trying to understand. She's saying one thing, you're saying another, and we think probably the truth's somewhere in the middle. You understand what we're saying?
Yeah.
I probably asked you this already, Josh, but when did you hear about this murder, about these people being killed?
Maybe, I think Wednesday, I didn't even really, probably Thursday.
Okay, did you see their pictures or figure out who they were?
I saw the pictures and I was like, holy shit.
And what did you think?
Wait.
Maybe,
Somewhere in the middle. You understand what we're saying?
yeah.
I probably asked you this already, Josh, but when did you hear about this murder, about these people being killed?
Maybe, I think Wednesday, I didn't even really, probably Thursday.
Okay, did you see their pictures or figure out who they were?
I saw the pictures and I was like, holy shit.
And what did you think?
I was like, what the hell is going on?
Okay, did you ask your wife about what happened?
I didn't ask her anything.
Why not? I mean, to me, that would seem like a natural thing.
For me, well, I asked her, hey, did you talk to Cynthia? And she didn't answer me.
Did you ever tell your wife that you killed these two people, and if she said anything, you would kill her
No,
and her whole family?
no. Never would have said that.
Have you told us the truth today?
Yeah.
Okay. You initially lied about the gun.
I'll say that on recording. I'm scared as shit. I lied about the gun, but from when I left the house at about 3:30, somewhere around there, I got to Cynthia's house, knocked on the door. Sean answered the door, and I sat and talked with both of them like they were family to me.
Okay.
But after I got done talking to them around 11 o'clock, I got in my car, sat down. I was vaping in my car. The last apartment's here.
Right.
There's a dumpster here.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my car here vaping. He came from this way. Literally, like, I don't know where blindside, because there was a white car parked next to me.
Right. Why did you decide to sit there and vape?
I was trying to get a hold of Amelia. And that's when he came up to my car and was like, yo, give me a piece. He saw my gun in the center console. And I froze. I couldn't.
Wait. No, now you're saying your story. Because earlier you said multiple times you didn't know how he knew you had a gun. Now you're saying he saw your gun in your center console.
I was trying to get a hold of Amelia. And
What?
that's when he came up to my car and was like, yo, give me a piece. He saw my gun in the center console. And I froze. I couldn't move. I was like, listen. I was like, don't. He was like, oh, give me a piece.
Would you have expected your wife to say that you did this if you didn't do it? Are things that bad?
I mean, she said I forced her to get married. So,
But I mean, she's basically sending you to prison for the rest of your life.
I would never expect that from her at all.
You gotta
Oh wait,
understand.
I just picked up on that.
Your wife to say that you did this if you didn't do it? Are things that bad?
I mean, she said I forced her to get married.
So this sentence, he highlighted this because this is basically Josh trying to form a reputation of her forcing Josh, a reputation. What am I saying? This is Josh trying to give Amelia a reputation of saying people force her to do stuff, which is I'm trying to form a story about how she acts.
So,
But I mean, she's basically sending you to prison for the rest of your life.
Saying that Josh
I
forces
would
her to
never
do stuff.
expect that from her at all.
You gotta understand something here, okay?
Okay.
If you care about Julian at all, do you really care about that kid?
Yeah, I do. I love him like
Okay,
he's my
so
own
let's talk
son.
about the only innocent person in this whole thing amongst you guys
Correct.
is Julian.
Yes.
This little 7-year-old boy that you take to school every day,
Mhm.
that you love like your own. You're willing to see his mother go to jail for the rest of her life, is what you're telling me. Because you're basically saying that she paid this guy Jay to go kill her and the grandson. Fine. If that's the way you want to go, then guess what? When she gets in trouble for it, she's going away. Then Julian grows up without a mother, okay? Now, I don't know about that, but to me, if that's not the case, that's a really shitty thing to do.
I understand that.
And you're going to have to, well, okay.
And that's why I'm telling you now, that if that's what it has to be because for me, all I know is she gave Jay the money.
And you're saying these two people are dead because of it.
And I don't know if that's the reason why. All I know is Amelia.
How could you say you don't know that's the reason why?
I remember this day. I was sitting on the toilet. She
I
said,
don't want to hear about you sitting on the toilet.
I'm going to talk to Jay.
Right.
He said, we've been watching you. We know why you're here. And I said,
Okay.
what the fuck?
So
and
you let you
I was vaping in this hand, and I was vaping, and all I felt was something pressed against my head. I put my vape down, grabbed my gun, and I gave it to him.
He rambles for another minute before the detective sharply cuts him off and accelerates the pressure.
Josh, it's just going to keep compounding, Josh. Compounding and compounding, and it's not going away. And I've told you from the beginning, if this is something that happened that got out of control, then we can understand it, and that works. You got your back up against the wall.
If I tell you the truth, will Amelia get in trouble?
Huh?
If I tell you the truth, will Amelia get in trouble?
No, if you tell us the truth, no.
I don't want anything to happen to her or
Okay,
Julian.
we need this.
So just like in Phase 1, he's about to alter a minor detail in the narrative that changes absolutely nothing. But you have to appreciate his acting chops. Just get a load of this theatrical exhale in about 3 seconds.
We need. She
Voice
needs
isn't
this.
cutting it for
Julian
me.
needs this.
Voice is not
What
cutting it for me.
happened?
That Thursday night, she told me she's going to call Jay and have him take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to get...
Wait. I thought this happened Wednesday. Like, Is he talking about the Thursday before? The week before?
I don't want her to get in trouble for this. I'll take them. Whatever it is you have to give to her, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Josh.
Jeff, what you just said is really no different from what you've been telling us all day. I mean, that's...
Let's stack this all up, okay? Your gun's gone. We don't know who took it. It just happens to be gone. The brand new gun that you bought. And you sat here for, what, 15 minutes telling us why you threw it over a bridge.
So wait. Hold on. Let's work this out. Can't they go inspect the bridge where he said he threw it over to see if the gun is there? And then that way they can know if he's actually lying. Because first the story was that he threw it over a bridge. Someone would do is they were guilty because they just used it for something. Now he's saying it was stolen by somebody named Jay and some other tall 6'5" black dude, which they don't believe happened. So if no one took the gun and he actually threw it over, it should still be there on that bridge. That means that he's lying about someone else taking the gun.
Josh looks pretty sad that his last piece of admission didn't have any effect. In about 30 seconds, he's going to try again, but up the intensity.
All right? Every time I keep pointing out something to you that just doesn't make sense, it keeps, you keep flipping it. You keep changing it, okay? That doesn't look good, all right? Who killed these people?
It had to have been Jay's people.
What, is Jay that big of a guy? Does he have that kind of people?
He said he knows people.
What did he say? Let's talk about the conversation you had with him about what he was going to do.
It's kind of like he's auditioning for the next Star Wars movie, and he's about to rehearse the most breathtaking fucking paragraph in the history of the franchise.
That night, Amelia came back in the house.
The additional piece of detail he provides is that Jay originally asked Amelia for 25 grand, not 10.
So why would you say this before? I didn't want her, so she won't get in trouble if I tell you this. Why did you say that?
I don't want her to get in trouble for this.
Well, then tell us the truth. How about that?
That is the truth.
Oh. Everything we've talked about, why now? All of a sudden, the gun going off the bridge, all these different things have not been the truth. Now all of a sudden you are telling us the truth. Why is that?
I just want to make things right.
No, I don't think you do.
Josh, I think he shot and killed these people.
Yeah. You have a big decision to make. You've already messed up as much as, and then you're going to let her go down. You really want to take her down with you? What do you have to gain? What are you going to get from taking her down with you? What? What is there to gain? Nothing.
You have an absolute motive, too, to have these people killed. All those things add up to a circumstantial case for first-degree murder. And your answer to it is, this is her. She's driving this boat.
She is.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but she is.
Again, like we said, one way or another, you got a lot to deal with. Your story just doesn't make any sense. And for you, again, to take Amelia down, I guess I'm kind of, at this point...
And I'm not being selfish. My thing is, we've been together for 7 years, and I've done the world and back with this girl regarding her son, herself, with her baby daddy problems, and...
She says you're abusive, mentally and physically. So that's the picture that she's painting of you.
And that's not me. I mean, that blows my mind.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Both of what you've said today blows my mind. I mean, there's just a lot of problems. A lot of problems. So we'll just have to see how it pans out.
Well,
It's about 7 o'clock, Josh.
I would never expect her to say that about me. That's crazy.
Surprise ourselves sometimes.
There's something poetic about a husband and wife spending their last several hours of freedom sitting just inches apart from each other, yet completely separated by a wall, betrayal, and the desperate need to save their own ass. Amelia cooperated with the police from this point forward and was sentenced to 3 years. The murder charges were dropped and she was only charged for the theft. Josh was taken into custody, where he was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and denied bond. He would see his wife again 3 years later at his trial, where she testified against him. It took just 10 days for him to be found guilty, and he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
So she got sentenced to 3 years. The murder charge was thrown out against her. She was only charged for theft, the fraud, and he was charged life in prison for 2 counts of first-degree murder. I think that's fair. When did this happen? Right, you know, is she out already? (2018). Okay, so yeah, she's definitely out already. Damn, these are the 2 people. Bro, they did not have to die. Bro, that is just fucked up. My thing is, Josh, why did you feel the need that you had to go kill those 2 people? Because they're calling Amelia, asking about the money, where it's at, what happened with it, whatever. Why did you feel the need to do that? And look at this picture.
Idea. So Amelia initially began to customers' transactions about your was fraud. Except, you see,
Compared to this. You guys were really set for life. Married, both got good fucking jobs. Careers, basically. And now you fucked it all up. This nigga's in prison for life. She did 3. She should be out already, right?
This bank worker murdered her customers after stealing money from their family. On July 2018, 52-year-old Cynthia and her son, 22-year-old Sean, were found murdered in their apartment in Florida. The investigation quickly pointed out he would be there. Before the family could investigate, he was sentenced to life in prison. On the other hand, Amelia was only charged with theft and she got 3 years in jail.
Wait. I We're moving forward. This is clearly a backwards progression. This is her in the great part of her life, and then it just starts getting worse. God damn, man, this is a fucked up situation because like no one had to die over $50,000 just because you wanted to silence them for a crime that you and your wife committed. That's fucked up. Thanks for sticking around. Actually, the next video will be out in a couple weeks. Let's go. That is good news here. Good fucking news, man. JCS is good to have you back. We're glad. We are happy. Yo, this was a really good one. I like watching these because it's interesting to hear how people act when they're being pressured during interrogation. But yo, that's in this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you can. It helps out all the time. Hit the bell icon so you know whenever I upload. See you in the next video. Take care. Peace.